Good evening, everyone. Representing our group, I am Nistal Rana, and our member are Kapis and Buena. The microbit is a pocket-sized computer that introduces you to how software and hardware to work together. Our first idea was to measure sound level in each class and determine which one is the silent and the noisiest. But the absence of microphone in microbit made us change our idea to wind measurement. So our goal was to make microbit get the data of wind, record it, and send it to Firebase. To measure the wind, we made fan rotate in a motor which the microbit will receive it and record it and send it to Firebase. While making the project, the problem arose when the Firebase didn't responded. We tried reloading the page and created a new project so we can make it work, but it didn't. We solved the problem by changing the server from European to America, which helped us. And while uh, rotating the fan, the microwave star didn't recorded the data properly, so to fix it, we changed the time of recording data from 5 seconds to 2 seconds, which helped it fixing it. When it was time to send the data from microbit to the Firebase didn't receive the data. The problem was in the code where the spellings were wrong, so we fixed it. And when receiving the data, the timestamp was not coming up correctly, so we fixed it by introducing the x-sticks from matplotlib. The graph has shown the data, but the time cannot be read properly because the value of times were clustered with each other and there were too many.
So this is the code for transferring the microbit data onto Firebase. We first start by importing these packages into Python. One issue that can be faced here is importing the wrong Firebase package. You have to import the python-firebase package for this to work correctly. Another issue that can occur is using the wrong version of Python. You'll have to use version 3.6.8 rather than the newest version of Python. So after correctly importing the correct packages, you have to connect Python to Firebase using this line of code here, where this is the Firebase link. So we have to set up a serial connection for a microbit to be able to communicate with Python. This is done here. Another issue that can be faced is having the incorrect port number. So a method of doing this is to go into your device manager and go into your devices, where it will show you which COM number your microbit is plugged into. If this is the wrong COM number, the code will simply not run, and you'll have to find the correct one. Once we have our microbit and Python communicating, we create a while loop to import the data from microbit, and as well as cleaning it up. So we import the data on line 19, then we clean up the data in this section here. We also want to record the time in which the data was collected, so we do this by creating this new variable now, which collects the days, the hours, the minutes, and seconds of the current time. So we create our Firebase structure by uploading the data. Wind would be the name of the variable, and then the variable we collected, as well as timestamp, which would be the current time. You can see here that our timestamp is in days, hours, minutes, and seconds. Then we'll have to upload the data from Python to Firebase. In line 44, it prints the unique code used by Firebase to identify the results. And here you can see the unique code given by Firebase. Then we'll wait 2 seconds for this code to run again, so the Firebase and microbit won't be overwhelmed. So now moving on to Firebase, you can see the current branch in this Firebase, including the wind and the timestamp. So this is our Python code to get our data from Firebase into Python so we'll be able to graph the data. So we'll have to import our two packages, Firebase and matplotlib. And since this is an older version of Python, our matplotlib did not work initially. We had to use trial and error to find the correct version of matplotlib to install, and we found version 3 worked. So we have to get our data from the Firebase using line 4, which this is our Firebase link. And then we have to get the data from the correct branch, which in this case was wind-time. Then we create two empty lists, wind and time, for our data to be put in. So we have a loop here to get our data from our Firebase and then add it on to our new list that we created up here. We do this for both wind and time. And down here is the code for the graph. So another issue I faced when graphing our data was I wanted the time data to be on the x-axis as the labels. So I found a method of doing this which involved using this xtick, which comes as a part of matplotlib. So what this does is it sets the marks for the x-axis to time. But it doesn't work with it as a list, so we have to get the range of values. We have to get the range of values for time. So we will be plotting the wind on the graph. So our y-axis will be showing how fast our fan blades spun, and our x-axis will be the timestamp that it was collected at. So since our timestamps were quite large, because we were collecting the days, the hours, the minutes, and the seconds, if we were to plot it normally, they would just overlap each other and clump up at the start. So we have this line of code 20 to make them space out evenly so that they're not just stacked one on top of the other. And then I turned the numbers 90 degrees so that they wouldn't overlap. And then I had to make them smaller because we have a lot of timestamp data on the graph. Without these 3 lines of code, it would be very hard to read the data for the time. So if we run the code now, we can see that. Now since we have a lot of timestamp data, as you can see from our Firebase, we have quite a lot of collected data over a couple days. It's quite hard to read the actual timestamps, but you can easily see the marks in which they come in. But if there was less data collected, you will easily be able to see the numbers. So you can see here that the wind speed has been plotted on this graph. So there were a couple spikes at the start, but then the wind died down for a couple of hours until having a few small spikes near the end.
This is the end of our project, and I'd like to thank Mr. Freeman for giving us the opportunity to present our project. If you have any queries, please feel free to ask us. Thank you.